Alright, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. As you know, we've been following the whole Klansman Wandan gang trial out of Jamaica, which, like we always say, is shaping up to be probably the longest running court case in Jamaica's judicial history. The biggest case, because this case, they're trying 30 plus people on the same set of charges in the same trial. Right? You have multiple lawyers, you have multiple witnesses, and you have a lot of cross-examination and all this stuff going on. So this is just another follow-up video. I believe this is number 21 or 22 or something like that. If you've been following, then you know where we're at. We don't claim, this is my disclaimer before we move ahead, we don't claim to have any inside details on any of the culprits or any of the persons that are accused and are now before the courts. We don't know about no man background story. We don't know nothing about that. We are here to simply gather information as it is released about what took place in the courtroom. And then we might have a discussion on that, give our opinions because we do commentary, and that is about it. All right, so pay attention. Here we go. Shout out to the Jamaica Loop for this one, even though I also saw it in the Jamaica Star. However, we chose to take it from Loop because it was laid out 21 hours ago ahead of when Jamaica Star published it, and it was thorough. All right. A murdered bus driver had actually came forward about extortions, is what a cop had testified in court. Now, there are countless witnesses on this case, and they have vowed to cross-examine every single one of them before this case is over. This is going to take a lengthy period of time. I am willing to bet that this case will drag until probably May, let me see, January, February, March, April, about May, June, that time, running into summertime. Just my prediction. All right, it goes like this. A police sergeant on Tuesday testified that a bus driver who was gunned down in the Spanish Town bus park in St. Catherine had told the police that he was a victim of extortion at the hands of the members of the Wandan faction of the Klansman gang. Now, I don't know if him tell the police who or which member. If he told the police indeed that he was being extorted by members of the gang, maybe the gang went to him and said, we represent clans, one man, one Dan gang, and that is how he knows that they're from that gang. Because that was my first question. How did he know that the people who are extorting him were from that particular gang? Anyhow, he told the police that he was being extorted. On the same day, the court heard from another police witness, a female detective constable, that photographs that she took at the murder scene in 2017 cannot be located. Yo, listen up. Listen. Some people are saying, no, the female police, they're probably at work with them. Just like how the female pastor, which is the only female in this big old case thing of 30 plus people that are being tried, to include Andre Blackman and others. This female police, yeah, incompetency at its best. If you listen, you would think that something suspicious is going on. So check it. Listen up. Listen good. Tell me this is not very suspicious. Hear this. The police officers, on that same day, when the police testified that this bus driver told him of extortion being ran on him by members of the Wandan faction of the Klansman gang, on that same day in court when he testified this, the female detective constable that was responsible for the photographs from a murder scene in 2017 got up and told the judge, said, we can't find it. It is not locatable. The police officers were given evidence at the gang trial in Home Circuit Court in downtown Kingston, where 33 accused are, including the reputed leader, Andre Blackman Bryan, and they are all facing a raft of criminal charges to include murder, extortion, arson, just a bunch of charges, illegal possession of firearms, you name it, it's on there, racketeering, all kind of something. The male police sergeant told the court that a bus driver known as Tandy Bay, Tandy, Tandy Bay, was shot dead by gangsters in 2018. 6 of the accused are being charged for Tandy Bay's murder. Out of the 33 people they have there, 6 of them are being charged for this particular murder. There are multiple murders throughout this case. Alright, they're just pinning who to pin on which one. Just so you're up to breast with what's going on. 6 accused: Andre Golding, Brian Morris, Chevroy Evans, Michael Whitley, Marco Miller, and Ricardo Thomas. They are all charged with this one murder. I don't know if all 6 of them went to the man at the same time and, surround him and corral him and intimidate him and all these things, and then went back and actually murdered him. In detailing the events leading up to the killing on February 6th of 2018, the policeman explained that he and another colleague were assigned to the Spanish Town bus park amid the extortion that was taking place at the facility. In other words, they were aware that it was taking place. Yo, gangsters are overrun the bus park. We need police presence out here. Tandy Bay told them, alright, he was being extorted. It is said that other bus drivers also told them, but wished to remain anonymous. Anyhow, when Tandy Bay complained, police full up the place. So this is how this sergeant is saying that he was assigned. The details leading up to the murder of this individual, Tandy Bay. The officer says he was assigned to the Spanish Town bus park amid the extortion that was taking place at the facility. The sergeant said that several bus drivers had complained of being extorted, including Tandy Bay. But unlike Tandy Bay, the rest of them, they failed to make any formal complaints out of fear. So in Jamaica, if you don't know it, the law goes like this. And I learned this from watching the politician from Westmoreland the other day when he got caught up with hitting his wife, or common law wife, on camera. And they said, well, listen, both of them are going to file charges against each other. Both of them lodged a formal complaint, or both of them just said verbally that they were going to lodge a formal complaint. And we were wondering why the police couldn't do nothing. But then the police actually released a statement that said both parties would need to actually go down to the police station and file a formal complaint, right? And then they can start doing what the police needed to do. Their investigations to see if there was abuse or whatever else. Well, in this particular case, Tandy Bay, the bus driver who got killed, he was the only one that actually went down there and did a formal complaint. Now, I have to ask myself, right? Who knows at the police station that has links to the gang, if they're the ones that executed Tandy Bay, that he actually came and did a formal complaint? Because this sounds to me like somebody had inside things leaking to the gang, and them said to the gang, say, yo, say the one of the bus driver them from over the bus park came down to the station and laid a formal complaint against Uno, and them say, who? Which one? And them say the one them called Tandy Bay, man, but don't call my name in this, And Badman say, alright, squad, say a word. And then they went for Tandy Bay. You see how that system has stayed, though? I'm not saying that's what happened, but you have to explain to me how Tandy Bay get executed after he made a complaint. And he was the only one that made a formal complaint. They never execute the rest of them are him. Turning to the night, that same day he went and made the formal complaint. Turning to the night, Tandy Bay was shot. The policeman recounted that about 8 p.m. the man drove his bus that plied the Spanish Town to Maypen route into the park. So I'm bringing him bus now, see? And this is Tandy Bay driving his bus. The bus was loaded with passengers, and a bus full of people this happened with, you know. Now, it's not like this was no secret pan, no dark road and them corral him. The bus was loaded with passengers, and it exited the Spanish Town bus park at 8:50 p.m. I'm rolling at 8 p.m. 50 minutes later, he exits at 8:50 p.m. The officer recounted that he watched the bus leave with Tandy Bay driving the bus until the bus got out of the bus park, went down the road, and went out of sight. When him couldn't see the bus anymore, he heard loud explosions. Bow, 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 bow. The sergeant said that he and his colleagues ran to the gate of the bus park on Burke Road, where they saw passengers scrambling to exit the bus. Some of them had jumped through the window. Some had jumped through the door. They're getting out as fast as they can by whatever ways they can, because people don't want to get shot. And these men don't care. They came and did it in front of everybody, a bus full of people. Other motorists were also trying to reverse their vehicle on the one-way street during the commotion. People all back up on a one-way. I got the wrong way. It was a big commotion. The law enforcement officer explained that he entered the bus because the bus is at a dead standstill. People are run out of the bus. People are bawl and a scream. Boy, them kill him. Them kill Tandy Bay. The law enforcement officer says he entered the bus, and that is where he saw Tandy Bay sitting in the driver's seat, bleeding as a result of multiple gunshot wounds. Several spent casings were also on the ground near the bus, outside of the bus, the officer said. Further, he said that he managed to drive the bus to Spanish Town Hospital. The officer drive the bus from where Tandy Bay got shot up to the hospital, where he then handed the wounded driver over to medical personnel. The police said that the driver was trying to say something to him, but he could not understand what it was that he was trying to say. Maybe he was trying to tell them who killed him. I would even go as far as to say maybe him even say who killed him. Because this looked funny to me. The same day that this man went and lodged a formal complaint in writing at the police station is the same evening him get killed. Into the night. That don't make no sense. That sounds like somebody told on him. I'm just suspicious. I might be very wrong about that. Tell me in the comment section if you think I'm wrong about that. Anyways, this report finishes up by saying that the witness said that he drove the bus. This is in court. This officer is testifying. He is one of the witnesses on this case. And you already know, if you've been following the case, that they also have witnesses that were gang members, self-professed, that they have now turned against the gang and are testifying as well. So the police officer said him jump in at the bus, drive the bus to the hospital straight, didn't even change vehicles, drop off Tandy Bay full of gunshot to get medical care at the hospital, and then he returned to the scene of the crime where the investigators had already arrived to begin processing the area. Tandy Bay later succumbed to those injuries. Meanwhile, the female police witness was drilled by presiding Judge Chief Justice Brian Sykes about the whereabouts of photographs from a murder scene in Chancery Street in St. Andrew in August of 2017. Now this part right here, so listen to this and then ask yourself about accountability. The detective constable told Sykes, the judge, that while she took photographs of the scene, something went wrong with the hard drive on which they were stored. I don't know, stored in wrong room temperature, then burn up. I don't know what she's claiming went wrong with it. Additionally, she said also that she could not remember who she had given the compact disc to with the photographs from the crime scene. Puzzled by this explanation, Sykes inquired whether the person who took the compact disc had signed for them somewhere. The officer then informed him that, yes, officer, they did sign, but the book containing signatures had also disappeared. Me have to laugh, you know. I have to laugh. Anyway, the response evoked laughter. See, I know me wanna laugh. The response evoked laughter from several of the accused individuals inside the courtroom. Several of the accused individuals inside the courtroom are laughing because the book with the signature can't find, the pictures of the crime scene can't find, and she don't remember is who she handed to. In other words, it never happened. That is a slate wiped clean. Do you think that that was done on purpose? And do you think that an officer should never be allowed to be so incompetent without being held accountable? Amid the laughter though, the judge continued to press the policewoman for answers on the whereabouts of the photographs that were taken from the murder scene. So the judge asked whether the photographs were stored on an SD card or as a backup for future reference, but the officer responded by indicating that the photographs on the SD cards were erased to create space. Rotted. Hear me now? This is a little update or some info for those who are just tuning in. So Andre Blackman Bryan and 31 other members and one woman who is also said to be a pastor are being tried in the Home Circuit Court under the Criminal Justice Suppression of Criminal Organization Act 2014, better known as the anti-gang legislation on an indictment which carries 25 counts for allegedly being part of a criminal organization, and they have all been charged with multiple offenses, including being part of a criminal organization, including illegal possession of firearm, including illegal possession of ammunition, facilitating conspiracy to murder, and facilitating arson. All have pleaded not guilty so far, and they all have their attorneys, and they are fighting this case. This case is unfolding like a Hollywood movie, I'm telling you. And this is the reason why we are keeping abreast with it. Alright? Drop your comments in the comment section below. The offenses allegedly occurred between January 1st of 2015 to June 30th of 2019 in St. Catherine. And the trial is ongoing now. 2021 it started, and here we are in 2022, and it is still going on, and we will be keeping you up to date with anything else that comes out. I can't wait to get to this comment section because I know there are some people out there that are thinking exactly what I am thinking. Some people are gonna walk. That's all I'm saying. I'll catch you on the next video with SouFLoTV. Hit that subscribe button. I'm out. Peace. Alright, so to give you an idea of what this whole extortion thing in the bus park in Spanish Town is like, check this out. We're in 2022, right? This article was printed in 2017 in the Observer. And it says that extortion in the Spanish Town municipal bus park has worsened, with gangsters developing a list of what they call shatter buses that are allowed to jump the loading line for a fee of $5,000 daily. A source familiar with the racket told the Jamaica Observer. He said, or she said, you have some buses that they call shatter buses. They don't join the line. They just go to the front of the line. Them just load and then them gone, said the source, who spoke on conditions of anonymity, being trying to hide, fear for their life. The person said that the drivers of other buses, they don't escape the extortionists, you know. Because they're not shatter buses don't mean that them escape the extortionists. They are forced to pay about $2,500 to use the park on a daily basis. It is believed that the bus driver Irvin McLegan, who was shot down in the bus park on Tuesday, was on that shutter bus list, but he was removed after a meeting was held among the gangsters for taking him off of the list. They probably thought that he was talking to the police that he was being extorted. So not only did they take him off the list, they later gunned him down. According to the source, bus operators do not report the matter to the police because they are fearful for their lives. But if they don't make a complaint to the police, then the police cannot act on it. Senior Superintendent of Police Anthony Powell at the time, back then, you know that's not who is our Senior Superintendent now. Senior Superintendent Anthony Powell, who's in charge of the St. Catherine North Division, said that he was not aware of any of the shutter bus list thing. Now, Senior Superintendent of Police Anthony Powell might still be running that constituency. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm getting him mixed up with the army man who came over to run the... I can't remember his name right now. But anyway, the shuttle buses use the exit gate. The person went on to further say they use the exit gate and they come in and they skip the line, and they should not be doing that. If we had the police enforcing the rules here, that would not happen, the source also said. The man added that extortions are sometimes, the extortionists are sometimes unrecognizable because they disguise themselves as fellow bus drivers, as conductors on these buses, and even as students who take the bus on a regular basis. Wow! The bus park has long been plagued by extortionists, and in previous years, it was at the center of a deadly gun battles between the rival One Order and the Klansman gang in Spanish Town. So in other words, One Order and Clans did a fight over the bus park because they make a lot of money there out of that bus park, according to this report. In May of 2015, when National Security Minister Peter Bunting announced that the police post would be established at the park as part of a long-term measure to address crime, including extortion in the town, Bunting, who made the disclosure during a tour of the St. Catherine North Police Division, said that the decision came out of meeting with key stakeholders in the town prior to the tour, including the parish council, operators of the bus park, the police, members of chambers of commerce, and church leaders. But another source, who also wished not to be named, said that inadequate security was one of, if not the main problem at that bus park. He noted that the personnel provided by the owners of the park were unarmed. So hold on there. I want to know who owns the park as well, because this is a public bus park, right? Or the buses belong to the Jamaica government. But this person noted that the person who owns the park also provides their own security at the park, at the bus park. But the security that is provided at the bus park are guards that are unarmed. Them guards that probably run when them hear gunshot to become. You know, if I'm working as an unarmed guard and I hear gunshot, after I'm in a Teflon, I'm running too. He argued that if the park had a police post, that criminal activities would be less likely to take place there. Now, most of the things that happen in the park happen when the police exit the park, leave one area, go to another area, or they don't come in as yet, he said. Adding that the police posts there would make shopkeepers, bus drivers, and commuters feel safe, since it seems like everybody over there is being extorted. Shopkeepers, the bus drivers, and the commuters. If the police are here constantly, then the guys who have no business in the park will not be in the park. A commuter who frequently utilizes the park told the Observer that poor lighting also contributes to the criminal activities that take place in that park. Quite dark over there. However, Senior Superintendent Powell said that the police post was not the only thing that was needed in the park. He said that a team had looked at the facility and had recommended the installation of closed circuit television cameras and other measures. Now, people, can I tell you, 2017, them I talk about closed circuit television in the park and all these things. Here's what I want to ask in 2022. Was that closed circuit television system actually put into that park? Because I've done a little research here quickly, and I'm seeing that multiple bus drivers were executed. So let's get on with this. And he's saying that a team had looked into it and thought that that would be another security measure that would be useful. You think? He also noted that the police post in the park before, but he also noted that there was a police post put in the park before, but it was burnt down by criminals. Then I saw them powerful. I saw the criminal them powerful enough. They're able to burn down a police post. Here's the police strategizing how to get rid of the extortion in the park and make the bus park safer. And they said, okay, let's put in CCTV cameras. Let's put in multiple police officers on the ground. They're there all the time. That's why we're going to put a post there, put them there permanently, and blah, blah, blah. And then make a bag of plans. Then put in a post. And the man them light the post of fire and burn it out. Basically run the police out of the park then. So if the police, if the police could be burnt out the park, what do you think the people who work at the park, who use the park, or who work at the park, like the bus drivers, them not stand a chance? The police doesn't necessarily need a post there because they should be out there in the field, is what Powell said, adding that the police were in fact in the park when gunmen attacked McLegan on that Tuesday morning and shot him to death. Police was in the park. So the police, the gunman, them never afraid. Them come in at the park with the police in the park. At this time now, I'm starting to question everything. Maybe these police were turning their head the other way because they wanted to. Because we're now learning that certain types of people were involved with the criminal activities. I don't know. It's just weird. Police in at the park and man coming there and gun down bus driver and get away. And they did get away. The police don't necessarily need a park there, is what he said, right? A post there is what he said, because they're supposed to be underground. They're supposed to be in the field. But they were underground in the field when gunman come in and kill the bus driver. He said that police are always present in the park, and it is just that they were not suited or situated to engage the triggerman, and he managed to escape. He said that the park is a hot spot for not only extortionists but other criminals as well, pickpocket and you name it, and that the police patrols deployed there have the main task of reducing these activities. Several cops were seen in the congested bus park shortly after the shooting. Days follow. However, people seen there said that the police presence does not make a difference because the criminals there don't care about the police and they don't have any fear